Hi, this is Miranda from My Scrappy Life, and welcome back to my channel. This is another process video for Confessions of a Paper Addict, where I use this cut file. I am so excited. So, I got out my embossing tools. I finally got clear embossing powder from Stampin' Up. I haven't gotten any. Normally I stick to white and silver, and now I'm starting to branch out a little bit more because I do like using this. And I decided to do Virginia's cut file, the Mermaid one, because you'll see why once I pull out the photo. And I'm like, you know what? I want to make this just stand out a little bit because I'm just going to do a white background with it. And I'm just going to emboss it. And it works perfectly. I don't know, this is my first time ever doing a cut file and emboss it like this. Normally I just use it for my stamping. So if you ever want to try this, it actually works really well. I love it. And you can tell the difference from where I've embossed and where I didn't emboss while I'm doing this. So I have to say that it worked out wonderful for me. I just absolutely love how this turned out. And I leave this all in so you can see. So if you can see on there of what I'm talking about, you can tell where it's glossy and where it's not. And I just took one of the little pads and I made sure I left it as the embossing, the Versamark, so that it doesn't touch anything else. I just grabbed one of my 2x2 flip flaps that I have just sitting here for photos and stuff and just went that route. So I was like, you know what? This works out perfect. I absolutely loved how this turned out. So now I just make sure that I still do the static part. I do know that obviously the static remover pad thing is kind of for it to not stick anywhere else. But I wanted to get a really good powdered base on it and then come with my Versamark so it really sticks well and then come through it. So I'm telling you, like, it didn't take me long at all for this to be done. Like, unlike some of the other times that I've used stamping and whatnot, it takes a minute or two. The clear, instantly, it's like a done deal. So I absolutely love it. It turned out wonderful. And yeah, I just loved how it worked. It was great. And so now I'm just finishing up this last little bit. I did have to get out a box because I was trying to figure out how to do this without like getting my hand hot. And I'm like, man, this is really hot. So I'm just now done with it. So I had to get it out and off camera. I backed it with the white and I stick to it. So this is going into my traveler's notebook. I decided to start a traveler's notebook of all of my gym selfies. And it's kind of like my accountability. I'm not going to do all of them, but when I happened to take this particular photo, my quads were sticking out really like awesome looking when I was working on my shoulders. So that is why I used, that's why I wanted to do this. And then the leggings that I have are mermaid leggings. They look exactly like a mermaid. So that is why I decided to use this cut file and go to town. Now the three, of course I drop one. Let me be right back. All right, now the three vibes that I decide to use is, yep, they're all vibes. They're shimmer vibes. It's Snow Wayman, Sweetheart, and Plum Tuckered Out. And the Plum Tuckered Out is a pretty deep purple, and I love it. Sorry about my phone. I thought I turned it down, and I didn't. So I'm sorry for all the messaging you heard. So I'm just going through everything, and the Snowy Man is the blue, the Sweetheart is that pink, and here comes the purple, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And I do pull in a blue and a yellow on top of this once I get done and I get this going. Now, the cut file, I'm not doing anything else with it, but that's it. And I just kind of dab it a little bit. So I start and I was like, you know what? I was going to put this on top. And then I stepped away because it was pretty late at night and decided I'm going to bed. Because lately here I don't know, lately I've just been like at night not wanting to sleep. I don't know. So I decided to put it on, and this is the next day. So I decided to put it on the bottom and get this started. Now, I am watching, so I'm a Netflix binge watcher, and I had stopped watching Designated Survivor for about a month now, and so I got to get back in. They just finished up season 3, so I'm halfway through season 2. I've already watched season 1, and now I'm just finishing up. So if you see me kind of tap my finger, that's why. I was probably having to flip it, or something was like, whoa, caught me off guard a little bit because I'm listening to it as I'm filming this. So, but I decided to only use 2 pieces of paper. One for that little bit on the bottom, and then 2, this other piece that I cut off that is the purple paper, that pattern paper. The collection that I'm using is Echo Park, the Mermaid one that just came out this year. So while you're watching me do a little bit of this, make sure that you go check out the Confessions of the Paper Addicts Etsy shop. The link for the Mermaid will be down below, along with their Facebook group. Come on over there. I do post. We all post. All of us design teams post quite a bit during the month. We just released a huge amount, Virginia did, of the Great Outdoors. So make sure that you go and check those out. And she just released a little bit of a smaller release that she does. She releases weekly, and it is smaller throughout the rest, and then she does like one big one. So make sure that you go check her out. Now, with this cut file, you're probably thinking, how in the world am I going to put this in the traveler's notebook? And you will, and then I know that for a fact that I'll make you cringe too when you see what I do. But it turns out wonderful. So I start on this, and then I'm like, I'm not feeling this, but I want to see what I can do with it. So I start on it, and I put this down, and then I'm like, what do I want to do with this next? So I try to play a little bit of it, and I'm like, I'm not liking this. So I had to step away, and then I think my daughter needed something. And so I stepped away from it, and then I come back, and then you'll see what I do with it, because I was feeling what I wanted up there. I was feeling it, but I wasn't feeling it at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. Make sure that also that if you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. And by all means, I do not know what happened to this frame here. I'm not sure why it looks this way. So I am sorry about that. I think my phone just decided to be a little bit funny. But if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am so glad that you are here. And if I do upload about 2 to 3 times a week, and I do regular process videos, and then all of my design teams and all of that kind of stuff. This is one of my traveler's notebooks. I kind of was traveler's notebook heavy this month, but that's okay. I wanted to get caught up on some of my notebooks, so you will see a few more this month, but that's okay. And then if you are returning, thank you for returning back. I am so glad to have you here. And now I get out my Distress Oxides. Now I want to distress a little bit with the blue. I pull out a couple of little pieces, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to do bubbles. And I wanted it to make it look a little bit like I'm under the water. So I place these bubbles when I get to them. I place them so it looks like the mermaid swimming under the water with my little mermaid legs going to the gym. And just make it look like she's making some bubbles kind of come out of it, and make it look a little bit more watery under the water too. And I'm just now pretty much finishing up the embellishment part of this. I do love how this turns out. I absolutely love my traveler's notebooks. I'm still a huge 12 by 12. This is where I bring the blue in, and then you will see that I bring in the yellow too. And I absolutely, getting back to traveler's notebooks and 12 by 12 layouts and that kind of stuff, I'm a massive 12 by 12 layout. I've been like that for years. And when a good friend of mine got me started on the traveler's notebooks, at first I was like, golly, I don't know what I want to do with these. Well, now that I have little things, that is the yellow that I pull out for my Distress Oxide too, just to let you know. And when I got into the traveler's notebooks, I'm like, what am I going to put on there? But, you know, after looking at my social media and realizing that I post a lot about my coffees, like my morning coffee, and I post a lot about my books, and then I post a lot about my going to the gym and the gym selfies and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I am going to post that as well. And I thought, why not do traveler's notebooks for these? I love the selfies I take. I am not a huge selfie type person. Like, I just don't stand in front of the mirror and take like 5 million gazillion selfies. But, oh, here we go. This is my cringe. I know that it's cringe, made you guys cringe, but I'm placing everything down, and yes, I do cut this in half, but you will see how I do this. So to get away from having your traveler's notebook so thick and heavy because you decided to do mixed media and the paper that came in your traveler's notebook is not mixed media based, it is fine to cut your page. Cut it in half and just have it a little bit further away from the edge, and then it still stays thin. And yes, you do have to cut a little bit of it off, but really in retrospect, who really cares? You're trimming things off. If you're going to have it off the edge anyway, you're going to trim it in a 12 by 12. So what's the difference if you're trimming it in a traveler's notebook? So, and all I did really there was cut a little bit of the hair off of the mermaid. Whoop, you know, like to me, whoop-de-doo. So that's how I got that on there. But, you know, the still shots are coming up, and I just loved how this turned out. Sorry about this part here, and I hope that you enjoy this. Make sure you go check out the Confessions of the Paper Addict, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!